Any one of you guys has metal in the mouth, has a root canal, wisdom teeth pulled, remain standing. This is 90% of the audience standing.
Now they're all panicking.
Yeah, don't panic. We're giving you new information.
I just wanted to get your opinion on hydroxyapatite.
Most people think our bones are calcium. They're not. Our bones are phosphorus. This is why mineral deficiencies are the genesis of things like osteopenia, osteoporosis, not a lack of calcium.
Quick question, impacted wisdom tooth, in or out?
In your mouth, you have an oral microbiome, right? And you don't want to have these bugs into your system. It's called leaky gum. It's the same as leaky gut.
I just wanted to know if there was a connection between root canals or wisdom teeth that you pull out.
Infections, chronic inflammation, triggering of your nervous system. It's all one thing. It's just the mouth is part of the human body. It's not just a garage.
About 87 to 90% of all autoimmune disease is idiopathic. The major reasons why the immune system is called to that site is mold mycotoxin, parasite, virus, and heavy metal.
So if you have heavy metals removed from your mouth, should you do a heavy metal detox?
If you have done this, and what we usually do after 4 months for the final prosthetics and aesthetics, that's the time when we...
This is a live podcast, so if you do ask a question, only 11 million people are going to see your face. So if you're shy or you're running from the law,
Amazing.
Don't ask a question. It's
Amazing.
You see, there's 2 people already ducking right there. Can we have security? Check these guys out. So why don't we just open the floor to questions, too? I would really love to get a dialogue going in this room. What's on your mind? What are you suffering from? What do you have questions about? What are your loved ones suffering from? Do we have a microphone that we can?
Oh, I can. Before we do it, I ask one question in the audience. I usually do. Any one of you guys has metal in the mouth? If yes, stand up and remain standing. And remain standing, right? Any one of you guys has a root canal? Stand up, remain standing. All of you guys. And third question. Any one of you had a wisdom teeth pulled? Remain standing when you stand up.
Wow.
So I imagine this is 90% of the audience standing. So there's room for health optimization right there in your mouth. You can sit down again, but
Yeah.
cheers, guys.
Now they're all panicking.
Yeah, don't panic. We're
Great
giving
job.
you new information just for your journey to optimal health.
So if you just want to raise your hand, and if we could get a microphone over to them, Tim, I know you had a microphone you were sending around, or we'll give you yours and you can yell. Where is the microphone that they had over there? If not, just ask the question. And do you have the microphone? There it is.
I've got one.
Okay,
I'm going to
about
run.
to get a lot of exercise.
Yeah. Okay, where am I going?
More steps.
Right here in the front.
Good.
On the right hand side, far right. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
I had cancer in 2017 and didn't know anything about oral health and the benefits of having a 3D cone beam scan. I guess I'm speaking from a lot of experience now around it. I ended up having 4 root cavitations that needed to be extracted because my wisdom teeth were taken out like 15 years ago. I didn't realize the connection at the time between the parasites in my mouth and the connection with cancer. I feel like there's a lot of fear for people around it. Like when you did that exercise just then, nearly all of the room stood up. And the NHS, which is the free healthcare here, don't offer a 3D cone beam scan to people. So it makes it really hard for people that don't have the resources to be able to have that access and facilities. What do you think we can do about it?
I mean, this is what I'm
it's
trying
quite
to
a serious
do. This is what I'm
question.
trying to do
I
about
know,
it.
but on a financial, it's great if you've got the resources, but if you don't, where do people go? And what do they do?
I mean, this is obviously a systematic issue or the problem of the system. We have the same in Germany. We have a general insurance. I mean, this is all depending on your priorities. And if optimal health is the priority, I think it's the best investment to take. And usually there will be a path to it. The main thing is how can you find someone? I mean, you got lucky someone diagnosed cavitations for you because only getting this information from 99.9% of dentists worldwide, it's going to be impossible. So getting to the information first, getting someone who knows how to diagnose a 3D X-ray, that is the blessing in disguise, even though it costs some money. But I think the investment for your overall health was worth it. And for me right now, it's about changing the system. I want to change dentistry from the technician to the overall health expert. And therefore, I'm training, I'm certifying, and then creating a true biological dental global standard for all the colleagues that we speak the same language. I think this is the first thing we need to do, changing the old system so that there is the information. Maybe it has to trickle down from above until it floods like the mainstream in the masses. But I think see it as an investment. And I had thousands of patients over the last 15 years. And if you tell them this and they get their priorities right, they usually find a way to afford it because they just focus on different. They see it as an investment. And then the dividend is more health. I think it's... Yeah.
You know, we sadly have the same issue in the U.S. I decided about a year and a half ago that I would go all in on the MAHA movement in America, and I probably just cut the room right in half just by saying that, but not MAGA, MAHA. But you know, in backing Bobby Kennedy's agenda to really upend modern medicine in a way that will be catastrophic initially, but it will result in better healthcare for humanity. You know, it's fascinating to me. You know, in both of our healthcare systems, you have the vast majority of your nutritional research funded by big food and big pharma. You know, in the U.S., this is why we have a food pyramid that says that Lucky Charms is more nutritious than grass-fed steak. You can't ask the question about vaccines, not to deny their efficacy, but you can't even ask a question about testing, safety, efficacy. You're not allowed to see raw data. I mean, and this has put at least the United States on the footing of spending $5 trillion a year on healthcare and leading the world in only 6 things: morbid obesity, type 2 diabetes, multiple chronic disease in a single biome, infant mortality, and maternal mortality. We're now ranked 66th in the world in life expectancy, and we spend $5 trillion a year, of which 85% is on preventable chronic disease. And the reason why I say that is because this was a preventable procedure, right? I mean, you had the root canal. At the time that they did the root canal, they could have done a biologic clean out of that, remove the tooth, and instead of just doing a root canal and capping it and leaving space and oxygen and a place for microbes to have a massive orgy, you could have at that place fixed it. And I think that's where it needs to come from. It needs to be a message from the masses. But if we were to be able to instill in the practitioner the demand that these procedures be covered, because all you need to do is extend a normal root canal procedure, right? I mean, you're talking about fixing root canals that were done wrong. You could do the right thing at the inception.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, it's a system problem because a root canal obviously is a fine art in dentistry. And as long as dentists think of themselves as the mechanic of the mouth, and in Germany, a dentist is called a tooth doctor. They're still dentists, but that means Zahnarzt in Germany. It's a tooth doctor, Zahnarzt. But we have to put the doctor back into the game so that they understand, oh, wow, it's not just about biting on the tooth, leaving something that might be an issue overall systemically for the patient. They don't think that way. So it's not the dentist. It's literally the system that needs to change. It's completely outdated. Yeah. It's millions of years. And I just saw one of my friends here, Goran, who has this booth down there. He showed me a case of a patient who had perfect healthy teeth, just a tiny filling, and he went to see someone, somewhere, I don't know, and he ended up having all teeth being root canaled. Why? For prevention of pain in the future. So basically they crippled them. And this is so bad. And this is what I mean. We literally have to change the system first. And that it comes through the masses. That's why I wrote the book. I think you guys are driving it, right? Yeah. It's a global
So let's see if we can, and that was an amazing question.
Thank you.
Somewhat answered it. Yes, ma'am, right here.
I mean, basically that she said that it was connected. Yeah. That is the main mission.
Okay, I have a question. I have an ache in a tooth down here. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it comes down. I don't feel it. But years it's coming back, and then it goes away. And I go to the dentist, they say nothing is wrong. And they can't find anything. I guess you've seen this before.
Yes, all the time, because as a dentist, we only focus on function, which is your bite. And they ask for pain, and you just perfectly elaborated. Sometimes there's pain, but usually when you go to the dentist, there's no pain. So they will ask you again, and then they say, we just monitor it, right? But if you now go and do a 2-dimensional X-ray and then even a 3-dimensional X-ray, I'm just assuming it's probably going to be an affected root canal. And it always shows up when you're not as resilient enough. That's when your immune system kind of like can't catch it and you have a little bit of pain. But then you get in stress again and then it doesn't show. So you need, first of all, to find someone who knows how to diagnose systemically. This is the most difficult thing for me too. Spearheading the movement of biological dentistry for over a decade. I now know if I tell you to see any biological dentist, that is shooting the whole mission in the foot because there's no standard. It means maybe they do then a biological root canal for you. Or they play a singing bowl right next to it. So that's why I create a standard. That's why I have a certification program. That's why this is the first step we need to do. Establish a minimum medical healthcare standard, but from a holistic overall health body point of view. So that's a mindset shift for your dentist. And this is hard to accept, but you will become a doctor. And then, easy for you. Then you find someone who knows, who has the software update, they know the education. They will tell you, of course, there's a root canal, it's chronically infected. We have a solution for you. We can provide an immediate ceramic implant. There is biomaterial available that is completely neutral to the body. But 99.9% of all dentists out there will tell you, that's quackery, that's bullshit, it doesn't work. It works. I'm doing this for more than a decade.
And there's some way in the back. I want to make the person with the microphone. Yeah, waving frantically up there.
More steps.
Yeah. Quickly, hurry. Just trying to make her run.
10 seconds.
That's so mean.
Yes, I am waving frantically behind here. I can't even talk. First of all, thank you to you both. As a nutritionist practitioner, I really appreciate your work so that when we have to say something to clients, they don't think, what are you talking about? Because you are out there in the front lines pushing these things forward. So thank you. And Gary, I'm part of your VIP.
Awesome.
If you guys are not, I don't know why. My question is
Giving
really
everybody
quick.
50% off at this event, by the way.
my quick question, impacted wisdom teeth or half in, half out? That is the question.
Amazing.
In or out?
Amazing question. I get it a lot. So, impacted wisdom teeth, fully impacted, meaning below gum line, they're not generally an issue. However, if they're partially erupted, meaning they're poking out all the time, they become an issue. Why? Because they're creating an opening to your system. Your gum is outside body. It's like your skin. And in your mouth, you have an oral microbiome, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't want to have these bugs going into your system. They're basically living outside of you. But if that is poking out constantly, you're creating an opening because the gum is not tight. It's called leaky gum. It's the same as leaky gut, essentially. So viruses, respiratory viruses, but also the bad bugs from the mouth, like there's no really bad guys, but the stuff you learn in university, Porphyronas gingivalis, for example, PG, likes to jump in there. And then this is when you find them in the brain of people contributing to Alzheimer's disease because they produce certain enzymes called gingipains in the brain, causing microglial cells to get activated. Or you find them in the joints and have rheumatoid arthritis. Or you find them in wherever you find them, they're not supposed to be in your system. And that's the opening. Same for COVID. Like, we know that it lurks in the mouth. And for some people, the cytokine storm just happens sooner. Now we have the research saying if you had periodontitis or leaky gum or bleeding gums, that's how they jumped into the system, not after 6 days, but straight away and caused cytokine storms. So literally, it's an opening. Then you take those out. If they're impacted and you're older than 30, 40 years, I would just leave them because they're part of your body, even though they're not fully outgrown.
It's interesting. I'm going to go deep down the rabbit hole during my talk today, but as a broad category of disease for a moment, if we just talked about autoimmune, all autoimmune, right? Crohn's disease, Sjogren's, Hashimoto's, multiple sclerosis, any autoimmune disease. As it stands now, about 87 to 90% of all autoimmune disease is idiopathic. Right? It's of unknown origin. So you're led to believe that you just woke up one day and your immune system turned on the thyroid, so now you have Hashimoto's, turned on the colon, you have Crohn's disease. It began to attack the myelin sheath of the nerve, and now you have multiple sclerosis or any number of other conditions. We know now that the immune system just doesn't show up for no reason.
No, it's not stupid.
It's called to that site. And I call it the big four, the major reasons why the immune system is called to that site, and again, I'll go into more detail during my talk today, is mold mycotoxin, parasite, virus, and heavy metal. And these are not talked about in the medical literature. They're not taught in medical school. Very few doctors even know how to test or even look for these, much less how to treat them. And the vast majority of entry is through the oral cavity. Right? And so this is why I'm so excited about the movement of biologic dentistry. It's not just to clean up the oral cavity, but it's the implications down the road. Yesterday I think I got asked the most interesting question I've ever been asked on a podcast. It actually brought me to a full stop, and I had to really think. But I was on a podcast here in the UK, and he said, if you were to put the top 50 leading experts that you know of, the MDs, the PhDs, the researchers, the biohackers, in one room and ask them to agree on one theory of aging, what would that be? So longevity experts, anti-aging experts, wellness, whatever you want to call it. And I had to think for a second, and then I said, I think we would all agree on the theory of immunofatigue, which is a slow, progressive overwhelming of the immune system. Because nearly every form of pathology and disease that we know of has a root or an exacerbation of or a complication from the immune system. When you're an infant, your immune system is spending about 65% of its time actually policing itself, circulating tumor cells, autophagy, cellular senescence. As we get older, the number of mycotoxins that we put into our body distracts the immune system. And now it's chasing mold, mycotoxin, heavy metal, parasite, virus, bisphenols, glyphosate, polyfluoroalkyls, all of these things, these little mini cytokine storms all over the body. And that is the genesis of aging. I don't know why I said that, but I
know why.
That was not related to your question at all. But thank you.
It's perfect that you went. Thanks,
I just
Gary.
had to get it off my chest.
Yeah. Very good. I mean, I know why you said it.
Yeah.
Kind of like, because it's all about the terrain.
Yeah.
If your body becomes not the same ecosystem like you came out of your mom, basically, and it changes completely, then this happens. And oftentimes, the missing link is your mouth, where dental repair is basically installing heavy metals, dead teeth, containing all the parasites, viruses, fungi, cavitations, including mold. So this is the hotel lobby of your whole system. And if this is already dirty or shitty, the rest is the same. You see decay here of the rest of the body. So changing this little ecosystem will change the whole ecosystem. So that's perfectly aligned here.
I agree. Oh, right up front. I try to find people as far away from where you are as possible.
Ties, as far as children or adults, would you suggest actually cutting them or doing more myofascial and helping that for mouth breathing and then cavities?
Love the question. You want to answer?
No, go ahead.
So she's asking about tongue tie, right? Mm-hmm. So that is actually a very good question, because that's it's a problem that most people overlook. So tongue tie basically means, can you lift up your tongue? You can actually, all of you guys try exercise, and someone has to look, can you lift up your tongue to your roof of your mouth and then suck the tongue up? And is your floor of the mouth coming up with it? If the floor comes up, you know you have a tongue tie. And the tongue tie is directly, so you look at the anatomical chart of the fascia. So it's called the frontal fascial train. And the tongue is connected, look at it, the fascia goes down to your toe. So what happens, for me personally, I have the same story, like it's connected to your posture, it's connected to your airway, it's connected to your breathing. And obviously, if you can remove this and find out if that's a baby already, maybe you can breastfeed better, maybe the growth of the whole jaw, the upper, the palate is all gonna be better because you breathe better. I only found out myself when I was like 42 years old that all my tension in the back was just, the tongue tie was missing, and it made me all longer. So the sooner you can find it out, it's myofunctional therapy, get a diagnosis, kids and adults, it's amazing. Like the whole posture, the breathing, the growth is going to be affected. Like the complete posturology is on your tongue. So it's amazing. So yes, hopefully it helps.
Yes, against the wall.
Hi, so I'm Charlotte. My parents actually have dental practices. My father's a very good dentist. We don't use any sort of fluoride or anything like that. My problem is they're quite big on me, because obviously I'm a nutritionist. I do love berries, all the lemon, and obviously all the apples, which is obviously quite acidic on the teeth to an extent. So I just wanted to get your opinion on hydroxyapatite, with the fact for the actual rebuilding, the mineralization, keeping the integrity of the tooth, obviously counteracting maybe a diet that obviously is healthy, but does contain fairly acidic foods.
Yeah. What's really interesting is amylase, the enzyme in our saliva, is very, very good at counteracting this acidity. And when we talk about hydroxyapatite versus fluoride, for example, I mean, our bones, our teeth are hydroxyapatite. Most people think our bones are calcium. They're not. Our bones are phosphorus bound to calcium, which creates something called hydroxyapatite. So the bones are actually hydroxyapatite, like our teeth. And actually you need 12 minerals in order to fuse those two, right? Which is why mineral deficiencies are the genesis of things like osteopenia, osteoporosis, not a lack of calcium. But when you talk about remineralizing the tooth, you get dental carie and it starts to erode the enamel. Fluoride is effective, but fluoride is also a neurotoxin. It's actually classified as a neurotoxin. If you look at the 2014 National Toxicology Program survey study on fluoride, it will tell you all you need to know about getting fluoride out of your toothpaste and replacing it with hydroxyapatite. So I'm an enormous fan. I hope you are too, because I've dug a big hole for myself if not. But I'm an enormous fan of hydroxyapatite toothpaste and not fluoride. In fact, the impact of fluoride in the marginal contact that you have during brushing really has, fluoride treatment's different, but fluoride brushing has very, very little impact on tooth decay.
I would agree 100%. I'm a big fan of hydroxyapatite, not a fan of fluoride. Biologic dentists are usually team no fluoride. The tooth, first and foremost, will be built from within, like the blood. And if you have, like he says, the right minerals on board and the methylation and a good, healthy, whole food diet, they're usually harder as stone. That's how nature designed us. They're hard. So if they're getting soft, that means we are eating the wrong stuff. It's processed foods. So I wouldn't worry at all about the acidity of real whole food, because usually if you have a healthy body, you have a saliva that's buffering all of it. Within
amylase buffers it, yeah.
Exactly. Within usually 30 minutes, the fruit juices are going to be acidic, the Cokes, the sodas. Of course, you have to be in a state of remineralization all the time, so it's not a problem. Hydroxyapatite is the perfect alternative, because I don't want to tell anyone go fluoride free and then use just any toothpaste that usually is just essential oils and lacking a Band-Aid or the safety measurement. Because if you have your nutrition quite dialed in and you eat ancestrally, like I said, your teeth are hard as stone. You don't get tooth decay. I cannot tell most of people this because they don't. So therefore, the fluoride is the Band-Aid. Yeah. But like he said, you go with the one that is more natural. This is also in my toothpaste design. It's obviously hydroxyapatite and other active ingredient. So if you go fluoride-free, fine hydroxyapatite, active ingredient.
Yeah. In the U.S., if you flip over any toothpaste, the box that toothpaste comes in, Crest, Colgate, any of the big brands of toothpaste, there's an FDA warning on there that says, if swallowed, contact poison control immediately.
Exactly.
And look, if you have Crest or Colgate at home, it's required by law in the states to have that warning label on there. But yeah, we put a notice to contact poison control immediately on our toothpaste, but then we infuse our water with fluoride, which is actually, to be technical, fluorosilicic acid, which is a byproduct of phosphate fertilizer production. So we make tens of millions of metric tons of phosphate fertilizer every year. And in the process of making that, we have to take something called fluorosilicic acid out of the phosphate fertilizer, or it will burn the root. So it's a waste product from this production of fertilizer, and then we dump that into the Minnesota water supply as fluoride.
Hope it answered.
Yeah, right here in the black and white chart. Yeah.
Thank you. Right, I recently dived into whole body dentistry because my daughter was diagnosed with scoliosis following a treatment for teeth aligning. So I have two questions for you. First, if you have a situation like that, which device would you choose for that treatment? And whether it will be the Invisalign, the plastic, all-covered teeth, or the metal brackets?
Wait, I understand correctly, the scoliosis happened after?
Yes.
So after the orthodontic treatment?
Yes.
To get it back?
During the
Yeah,
whole
I know,
thing.
because it's too forceful. It's brutal because you...
Yeah.
Exactly. What you need to do is basically, I would go Invisalign. Obviously, no metals in the mouth.
Okay.
If you put a metal bracket these days in the mouth, you're going to make a human antenna out of your kid.
Okay,
Not a
so
good idea.
we did that. We did
It's
Invisalign,
insane.
and still it happened. So
Wait.
Okay.
You did Invisalign, but you have to work now with an osteopath to just basically get the sutures right, because it's all probably blocked.
Okay.
And then align everything again, and then just let it flow. And then at the same time, work on the nutrition, putting back the minerals, maybe use some frequencies, maybe use some... There's so many different things you could use.
Okay.
But work with the body, mainly in balancing it again. So I would usually call an osteopath or myofunctional therapist at the same time, and then use the Invisalign, and it's easy. It's just, you have to work with the body, not with force against it. That's what happened before.
I agree with you. And I'm functional nutritionist and a homeopath, and I thought I've covered everything, but I didn't expect the scoliosis. So this is something that's...
I mean, it's quite
as a
rough.
side, yeah. I understand.
But
that
you
now.
can reverse it. How old is she?
How? She's 12.
Yeah, easy. You can reverse it because you know already. Just find someone who will work with aligning. So I work a lot with posturology and neurodrills. I would see someone who is specializing in posturology, but also maybe neuroathletics, because it also the scoliosis happened because of the falls. So her fascia is in that state right now. So you have to unwind it, but also the eyesight is now connected to the fascia. So you have to go neurologically to, and maybe from the feet, to get it all sorted. I have a specialist for this that comes into my clinic every 6 weeks.
That's
so
great to know.
No
Thank
problem.
you so much.
I can connect.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Amazing. How about you right up front? And I'm sorry, I have a hard
Hi.
time seeing the back, so we'll get another question from the back.
I just wanted to know if there was a connection between or a relation with root canals or the wisdom teeth that you pull out and glaucoma or any of the eye situations, whatever problems.
Go ahead.
Yes. So whatever symptom you want to ask me about, I would always answer with yes, there could be a connection. That's a multitude of things. So first of all, it's a little trauma that you had from the cavitations. Usually over time, there's a chronic inflammation in there. There's parasites, there's viruses, there's cytokines, putting your body into stress mode and affecting your whole brain stem. So this can obviously affect your eyesight and everything. Also, at the same time, what Gary just said, there might be viruses and parasites involved, which is directly connected to almost always any chronic symptom. So what you need to do is just figure out a way on your health journey on how to reverse your journey, basically. So obviously, whatever you learn on this stage or in this convention is nutrition, lifestyle, grounding, sleep, everything you should do. But then find someone who knows how to reverse this and help you get out of chronic stress mode or chronic war zone as the stake in your treatment. And then maybe you need some myofunctional therapy, or maybe you need some antiviral processes, or maybe even a stronger parasite treatment or heavy metals to just reverse everything. And then, yes, it's connected. I hope that makes sense. Because of infections, chronic inflammation, triggering of your nervous system, autoimmunity, it's all one thing. It's just the mouth is part of the human body. It's not just a garage. And this is an extension of your brain. It's way more important as this arm as a limb. Literally, everything you do in your mouth or you have in your mouth gets transferred through retrograde axonal transfer straight into your brainstem, into your pituitary, hypothalamus axis, and cause hormonal imbalances, thyroid, glaucomas. Everything is just not the main cause, but is a big factor in your health journey that needs to be addressed quite soon, and not only after seeing 29 doctors and waiting for 30 years with chronic migraine. That is the way to proceed. Just know that it's there.
I'm out in the middle, all the way in the back. She hates me.
Love it.
Yeah, because I just couldn't see up there with the light. By the way, before this question, can we just put our hands on our lap for a second and just put our feet flat on the floor? And we're just going to do 3 obnoxiously deep breaths in through our nose and just out through a straw, an imaginary straw. Okay, so here we go. Okay, great.
Felt it.
That was good.
Feel better?
Dr. Sarah Young from Changing Minds with Pick Up a Penny. We specialise in working with children and young people, and it's beautiful to see a little baby in with us this afternoon. I believe in early intervention for children, so I believe that it would be lovely to see you out of business if we got it right with children. So this didn't happen. How do you plan to do that?
Is this related to the dentistry side, or?
Looking at dentistry right from the start, from starting from birth and educational and
I can tell you
dentistry.
Yeah.
Dentistry question. Oh, okay, yeah. I think so. My goal is in the future. Obviously, right now we have to repair what has been repaired previously with new materials. That's the main thing in biological dentistry right now. But the future, in my idea, is we don't need a dentist to repair at all. If we start educating our parents and moms way before even conceiving how to get their body clean, how to get it healthy, how to supplement with the right nutrition and the right micronutrients so that you're not going to be depleted during pregnancy, which already helps the kid growing up. And then you can maybe breastfeed. Breastfeed is your first initial orthodontic treatment. if you're able to do so. But we have to educate people about this because I think still many people are afraid of it or it doesn't work. So breastfeeding would be, maybe breastfeeding will save your kid when it's 14, 15 years old from orthodontic treatment. But you have to do it for at least 18 months, ideally even longer. It also obviously helps with bonding. It also helps with oxytocin and with your immune system. I know I'm truly sorry for all the women that can, but if you can, that is your orthodontic treatment. Because at the same time, while they are sucking on the breast, the jaw comes forward, but they have to breathe through the nose, which widens the midface and the palate. So that's literally gives space for all the jaws for all the teeth to grow in. Because what we're seeing right now is an epidemic of spacing issues. People have no space for the wisdom teeth. They're all removed. We're growing too narrow. So that's the start. Obviously, having the right nutrients on board so that the milk is kind of like cream full of nutrients to build. But then afterwards, the growing phase still needs to be supported with the right building blocks. Focus on eating real food, whole food diet, nutrition, protein, methylation, minerals, all that, and maybe some myofunctional therapy. And like she said, have someone look at the tongue tie and all these things. Rule out inflammatory things like dairy. Conventional dairy usually causes inflammation of the gums, or gluten and seed oils, all the bad stuff. But support that ongoing growth of the body. And it's about 18 years, right? Or even 21 until we're grown up. So I believe it's possible to not need a dentist for anything. It is a lot of education down the road, because also in university we learn the biggest enemy of the tooth is the dental drill. But we're still drilling. Yeah. So it's all connected to lifestyle and nutrition, because if you look at our ancestors, we had space for 2 sets of wisdom teeth. And now we have space for no sets of wisdom teeth. So that's the evolution right there. Starts with you, starts with education. And then I think in the future, we don't need dentists for repair anymore. But maybe for as health experts overall by starting in the mouth, right? Mm-hmm. That's the goal.
I would agree. Yes, sir. Right up in the front. I gave you a little break that time.
So if you have heavy metals removed from your mouth, should you do a heavy metal detox? And then the second question is, can cavities heal? And if they do, how often do you see that happen?
I love the question. It's all about timing, and you said it right. If we have removed the heavy metals, so you never do any chelation or anything to get rid of metals or heavy metals in your body while you're still having the sauce in your mouth. That's step number 1. If you have done this, and what we usually do after 4 months when you see our guests again for the final, let's say, prosthetics and aesthetics, that's the time when we do, let's say, a heavy metal chelation, which means we run a couple of IVs and collect urine for 24 hours and then know what is coming out next, because then we go to the cell. We never open up cells or any pathways as long as there's the stuff built in your system. That can make problems. So timing-wise, of course, we do that, but wait until everything is clean. No root canals, no metals, no cavitations. Wait for 4 to 6 months, build your body from within, and then work on next level detoxification. The biggest detox is getting rid of the sauce first.
Yeah, I was just going to say the number 1 rule in detoxification, this happens with mold, mycotoxin poisoning all the time. I live in the mold capital of the world, which is Miami, Florida, believe it or not. Yeah, Miami capital. Yes, the mold capital of the world. That's. Yeah. I mean, amongst other things, we got good things too. But we won that. We have the worst drivers 10 years in a row. So we got a lot going for us. But is to never try the detoxification process while you still have the and you have to get people out of that environment. So once the metal is out and
not just metals,
point, but I think it's worth remaking this point. If you really want to do a true heavy metal test. Remember, heavy metals just don't hang out in the blood or hang out in the urine and wait to be picked up in a test. They move into the tissue. And so one of the best tests to really see what kind of metals you have in the body is a provoked urine test, where you actually provoke the metals with a chelated IV, and then you do an 8-hour urine. So you collect first urine the next morning. I've seen people hundreds of times do a vibrant wellness test or heavy metal testing, especially in the urine or in the blood, and show no metals, and then do a provoked urine and be off the charts.
I 100% agree with this, but don't do this, like you said, while you have it in the mouth, because you will redistribute, and then it's pretty bad to run an IV. Not a problem with the supplements, that's usually not an issue, but if you go intracellularly, you don't want to open up osmosis to get stuff more into the cell. So first, biggest detox, take out the stuff you might have in your mouth safely. So that's also very important.
Agreed. I think we got time for one more question.
Mold.
Yes, sir. Or yes, ma'am. I can't tell. Not because you're not visibly a man or a woman, but because I can't see.
What do you do against the mold?
In the 3rd row. Right there.
What do you do against moldy house?
I'll tell you.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering, why are root canals bad?
Why are what?
Root canals, why are they bad?
Oh, why are they bad?
I can elaborate to
Yes.
that. So first of all, it's a fine art. They're good for biting. Yes, it's an acute pain treatment. To all my colleagues out there who are doing root canals, fine art. Yes. But usually teeth are vital organs. They have a blood supply, a lymph supply, an autonomic nervous system, even an immune system, right? And once you have an affected tooth, usually you drill down to the pulp, which is in the middle of the tooth. That's the live part. You take it out, drill out the pulp, the nervous system, the autonomic, the lymph supply. And if you now, and then you fill it up with plastics basically and have a cap on top. But now, if you see the tooth on a microscopic structure, you have about 30 to 75,000 dentin tubules per square millimeters, which becomes the perfect hiding spot for anaerobic bacteria, parasites, viruses, fungi, even mold, to just live there, compartmentalize. And the problem is your immune system, the macrophages, they're just too big. They can't get there. They might create like a cyst around it to protect you and a chronic inflammation. So it's going to be a chronic infection site over time, getting tons of metabolites that are toxic, immune issues, and a chronic inflammation if you're still having an immune system, and you should. So does it make sense? So the alternative is, first of all, know about it, and then don't freak out. I mean, it's for now, you're probably not super sick, right? So work on a strategy on how to get to the next level. So one of my specialties is immediate ceramic implants. I'm one of the first ceramic implant specialists. So that means I can take out a root canal, wiggle it out. There's no yanking involved. Don't think about a dentist. Very gently remove it, scarless. No pain, no swelling. Have the socket, clean it, use ozone, PRF, everything that's needed, and put an immediate post in there, kind of like a tent post to keep the anatomy alive. And you basically never have any surgery, and then obviously your body needs about 3 to 4 months to osseointegrate it while you have your nutrition on point to be anabolic systemically for bone healing, and then you come back for a cap. So that is the most charming thing. It's literally pain-free. He had it himself. Like, you know how it is.
2 of them, yeah.
2. But of course, if you go see 99.9% of all my colleagues right now, they tell you it's science fiction and doesn't work. It does work, but it needs tons of experience. Like I said, placed over 5,000 ceramic implants myself, so I know I've had to become world champion in this so that dentistry would even listen to me. Like, that's why they listen. That's why I can bring in nutrition and all the health side of things. But yeah, that's the solution long-term. Root canal, short-term temporary, long-term. You don't want to yank out any teeth before having a solid strategy. Immediate ceramic implant.
Okay, I think we're out of time. Guys, thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.